Once again, it says video is private for some reason. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya-manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vākākalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 रोजगं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलाम् आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहं दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजाः पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्. Welcome back, welcome back. So nice to be with all of you. I am so grateful to Shamakund for doing last week's session. It was so thrilling that I really asked him that he should do this often and come back again. It's hard to convince him, but hopefully he will accede and agree. So where we are is Hanumanji, who was in Ashoka garden causing some distress to Ravana. The Rakshasis who were guarding Sita went and complained to him that how dare somebody come into this garden that is your favorite place and speak with Sita Devi, who you have accepted in your mind as your own. And hearing these words, that there was anybody who dared to challenge Ram's authority, Ravana became completely irate. And Valmiki gives us a visual of how Ravana's anger was. Rakshashinam vachah shrutva Ravano Rakshaseshwaraha Huta Agni Ivajjajwala Kopa Samvartita Ikshanaha. When there is a sacrificial fire, Huta Agni, and you put ghee into it and say Swaha, suddenly the flames of the fire reach out and become emblazoned very intensely. So Ravana's anger became like that. And the internal anger that became so intense was externally seen in this way. Tasya krudhyasya netrabhyam, from both his eyes, prapatan ashrabindavaha, from his eyes, teardrops began to fall, or drops of tear began to fall. Okay. In anger, he's tearing up. But what kind of tears? Deeptabhyam iva jajjwala kopa samvartek ekshanaha. Deeptabhyam iva. If you light a ghee lamp, as the lamp is glowing, there are little drops of moisture that fall from that lamp. Like that. The intensity of the anger that he had in him brought tears of anger in his eyes, and they were dropping one by one, one by one. He said, "Who is this upstart?" And he sent 80,000 demons by the names Kinkaras. Kinkaras are order carriers. And he said, "Go, catch Hanuman, catch this monkey and bring him back." As these 80,000 Rakshasas who had large bellies, long tusks, terrible forms, they were always eager to fight, and they carried their iron bludgeons, hammers, mallets, spears, lances, and just rushed towards Hanuman. Hanuman, who was standing on the archway or doorway of Ashoka garden, saw these people running towards him like how moths fly towards fire. There is no stopping. The intensity is just too much. And they were carrying iron gadas or maces, and they were bludgeoning Hanuman's body one after the other. They were shooting gold-plated arrows at him. Hanuman suddenly was surrounded by these 80,000 demons who had iron pikes, lances, javelins, swords, spears, and they stood right in front of him, fighting him. Hanuman, who looked like a big, massive mountain, was not going to be disturbed by all of these persons. So, what he did with his tail, he banged his tail to the ground, and it created such a clamorous, thundering noise that the entire Lanka shook. And everyone was shocked for a moment because of that loud noise. Have you ever heard the clap of a thunder? A flash of lightning in the sky. It is so terrifying. Then Hanuman started clapping loudly. His gigantic form. Tasya Tasyas Ashpotheta Shabdena Mahata Sanunadina Peturvihanga Gaganad Ucheshcham Oghayat. His clapping was so strong, and the sound was so terrifying that birds that were flying in the sky just fell down onto the ground. And then Hanuman roared with such a clamorous voice that the entire Lanka just stood stunned. And in that roaring, he was claiming something. Usually, when people are in marches, they loudly shout slogans, such and such, Zindabad, oh, long live someone, or die, someone would be chastised. Here, Hanuman is very loudly announcing something. And he says, Jayati Atibalo Ramaha, Lakshmanascha Mahabalaha, Raja Jayati Sugrivo, Raghavena Abhipalita. All glories to Ramachandra, all glories to Lakshmana, all glories to the King Sugriva, who is a servant of, or who is being ruled by Sri Ramachandra. As far as I am concerned, दासोहम कौशलेन्द्रस्य रामस्य अक्लिष्टकर्मणः हनुमान शत्रुसैन्यानां निहंता मारुतात्मजः. He is giving his introduction to Lanka. When he met Sita Devi, she asked him, "Who are you?" And he says, Dutoham Ramasya. I am a messenger of Ramachandra. But the association with Sita Devi was so impactful, it has almost transformed Hanumanji. He has gone further in his devotion, in his bhakti to Ramachandra. From Duta, he has become Dasa. And so he introduces himself, although the names he has used for himself is Hanuman. He's saying, I am Hanuman. Shatru Shainyam Nihanta. I am the one who can destroy the entire armies of enemies. Marutatmajaha. I am the son of the wind god. These come later. But first his identification is Dasoham Koshalendrasya Ramasya Aklishta Karmanaha. That Ramachandra, who's the king of Koshala kingdom, king of Koshala, and who can do any activity without any sense of becoming tired or even effort. Aklishta karmana. Klishta karmana means when we perform some activity, there is effort. And from that effort, we may become tired. But for Ramachandra, there is no activity that can tire him because he's so strong. He's the supreme that everything is done easily. For such a Ramachandra, Dasoham, I am a servant. And this is the true identification of all living beings. We are all Dasa. Jivera Swarup Hai Krishnera Nitya Dasa. This is our true identification. And to perform any service, whatever is the challenge, the first the first identification that one must accept that, oh, I'm about to engage in a service, whether it is challenging or not, whatever service in this material world, even the simplest of things are very challenging. But the way to approach it is dasoham kosalendrasya ramasya aklishta karmanaha. That is the approach. I am the servant. Every morning when one performs uh, deity worship, one is supposed to express in what spirit, with what identity one is worshipping the deity. One cannot come in front of the Lord and say, I am the king of such and such place, or I am a rich person, I am a scholar, I am the great Brahmana. No. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasanu Dasa. I am at the lotus feet of the servant of the servant of the servant of the husband of the goddess of fortune, or the gopis, Sri Krishna. Here he says, Dasoham Kosalendrasya. This is Hanuman's greatest achievement by the association of Sita Devi. One who chants the Hare Krishna mantra with this plea, this request to the internal potency of the Lord, please engage me in the Lord's service. Then she gives us the identification, the ego of a servant. And that is what helps us accomplish anything without thinking I am the doer. So he says, Na Ravana Sahasram me yuddhe pratibalam bhavit. Shilhabistu praharahataha padapaischa sahasrasaha. Na Ravana Sahasranam. There can be not even thousands of Ravana who can come in front of me and be a match for me in battle. I can immediately pick mountain peaks, boulders that are as big as mountains. I can pluck trees and kill all those thousands of Ravanas. I don't even need sophisticated weaponry to kill Ravana. And then I will destroy the city of Lanka. I will offer my obeisances to Sita Devi and I will go back after completing my task. The Hanumanji, who's playing the role of a spiritual master, knows that they don't belong to this material world, that they themselves are free to leave the material world on their own will or at their own will. And so he's not afraid of Ravana. He's not afraid of the challenge that Lanka provides. He's saying, I'm going to finish my job here, offer my respects to Sita Devi, and I'm going to go back. When he was roaring so loudly all these, the 80,000 demons became frightened for a moment. They saw him as this massive cloud that forms on the horizon at sunset, but they became scared. But they came back to, no, we have to fight this terrible monkey, and they got themselves to be more energized, and with their terrific weapons began to surround Hanuman. And as he was doing so, Hanuman plucked the entire doorway, the archway of Lanka's gate. It was a massive iron rod. And when we think of iron rod, don't think of something small. If think of it as a massive iron beam. Hanuman plucked it as easily as Garuda carries a snake. Then Hanuman started swinging this iron beam and completely destroyed the gateway and smashed these demons. Some demons just died in an instant. Some ran away helter skelter. Some went back to inform Ravana. When Ravana heard that so many of his Kinkara demons have been killed, his eyes rolled in severe anger because nobody can fight these Kinkaras. But this is the first time Ravana is facing such a challenge in his entire life. So, with this anger, very quickly, he ordered the son of Prahasta, his name is Jambu Mali. And Jambu Mali was unequaled in his power, and he had won many medals of honor for his fighting capacity. Prahastaputram Samare Sudurjayam. Sudurjayam is invincible. He cannot be won over by anybody. So Ravana told Jambumali, go and attack this monkey who's there in Lanka. And there, Hanuman is telling everyone, the demons, oh, this grove has been destroyed by me. Now, this lofty palace that is sitting on top of a mountain, I'm going to go destroy that one as well. And with one quick jump, Arohya Girisam Kasham Prasadam. Prasadam means the balcony or a terrace or a area of the house that's the front yard like. Hari Yutapaha, the king of or the leader of the monkeys, Babhau Sa Su Mahatejaha Pratisurya Ivoditaha. Surya Ivodita, the sun when it rises, is very powerful. It can destroy all darkness. And Hanuman himself was like another sun confronting the sun that has risen. Pratisurya Ivoditaha. So it was like two suns had risen simultaneously. And with this lofty, powerful, massive mountain size, Hanuman jumped onto that balcony. Now, when we think balcony, it's not like a small area. This is Ravana's palace. Ashoka garden was multiple hundreds of acres. So, such a big garden that he was completely smashing and destroying. So, this big size, Hanuman started clapping again. And with his loud claps, the entire city of Lanka was filled with this reverberation. And again, birds that were sitting on trees, birds that were flying in the sky, just became unconscious by this loud sound and fell down. Again, Hanumanji loudly said, long Jayati Ramo Lakshmanascha Mahabalaha Raja Jayati Sugrivo Raghavena Abhipalita Dasoham Koshalendrasya Ramasya Akrishta Karmanaha Hanuman Shatru Sainyam Nihanta Marutatmajaha. Again, he's repeating the same slogans. I am a servant of Ramachandra. I am a servant of Ramachandra. And that is giving Hanuman such power. Every time he says, I am a servant of the Lord, his power is going on increasing far beyond anyone's imagination. And the entire Rakshasa clan was terrorized by Hanumanji. They were fighting him, they were attacking him. And Hanuman at this point uh, one second. Yeah. So then Hanuman starts to fight with this demon called Jambu Mali and completely kills in one quick act Jambu Mali. So Ravana is so shocked that Jambu Mali, who's our local hero, who has never been defeated by anyone, has so many medals of valor, has been killed by a monkey. This is just too much to bear. And so then the next is he invites another demon to go fight with with Hanumanji, which we will look at next week. But let's step back, and while the fighting is exhilarating, and it has such it makes one's hair stand on end with this kind of fighting. What we are interested in is the message of grace of the spiritual master here. So let's step back. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninah tattvadarshinaha. Arjuna, you should go and approach a tattvadarshi, one who has seen the truth. The seeing the truth means what we see right now as truth actually is not the truth, because this is all relative. What exists today did not exist in the past, and may not exist, and will definitely not exist in the future. But we accept these through these senses. We accept what we see, we hear, we touch, we smell, we taste as reality. Similarly, we may be going through certain circumstances in life. They may be very challenging, they're very daunting, painful, traumatic. Those are not a reality, although they feel real. And of course, the experience is real. Tattvadarshis are able to take us beyond from a different vantage, such that we gain a commendable, perhaps even unimaginable strength and capacity to not only bear but transcend those circumstances. And for that, there are three ways: pranipata, pariprashna, and sevaya. The reason these three are there is there are three functions of the spiritual master that match these three expressions from the disciple or the student. The three functions of the guru, according to the acharyas who comment on Ramayana, they say that the first function is called anveshana, that the spiritual man, the persons performing the function of guru are constantly searching, meaning I want to reclaim these lost living entities, which is any one of us. Our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada came to the West in search of all the conditioned souls who are steeped in very intense sense gratificatory lifestyle and thinking that that is happiness. So they are in the garden called Asoka, which removes all distresses and sorrow. There's no room for sorrow and lamentation. So each conditioned soul builds their own little Ashoka garden. In that there is a sense of security, a sense of happiness, if you will, a place where they imagine, each one of us imagines how wonderful life generally is. But the reality is that that life is very unstable. And so the spiritual master comes searching to dismantle this set of conceptions. So first is Anveshana. The second is, after meeting the conditioned soul, the spiritual master gives mantra, the Ramanama, as a way to break this foggy idea of life, to break through the clutter of what happiness means, to break through the conceptions of reality and our true identity. And he just doesn't leave the disciple or the student that way. The third piece is the spiritual master actually participates in dismantling this Ashoka garden. So you see, Hanuman not only gave the Anguliyaka, the ring to Sita Devi, but now started destroying Lanka, especially the Ashoka garden. And so the verses say, what was Ashoka actually now, for the great persons living in it, it become a source of shoka. Actually, it's always a source of shoka, but one creates certain conditions and thinks that, this is happiness. I have a house, I have bank balance, I have a stable job, I have a loving family. These are all ways in which one starts creating their own little Ashoka garden. Yet, in this Ashoka garden, the reality is that the Shoka is waiting to happen because matter by nature is very, very agitatable and it keeps changing. So, this constant change is something that conditioned souls cannot grapple with. And they're always trying to refix or readjust it back to how it was. Oh, some change. Let me fix it. So the conditioned soul is kept very busy, constantly trying to fix the the manifestations of matter because they're dealing with the conception that this is happiness. So any change is very disturbing. But the guru's job or function is to dismantle that illusion. Mm. There are three primary, they say that there are three pegs, if you will. Mm. And all these pegs come from the sense of aham mama iti. Mm. This, this mamakara and ahankara, I and mine concept. And this I and mine concept manifest in three things. That one has intense attraction to symbols of or expressions of lust. For example, attraction to someone else's property. It's called coveting. Attraction to someone else's wife or some attraction to someone else's resources. That's very, very intense. And the embodiment of that kind of lust or this taste for someone else's uh, possession is Ravana. And Ravana got destroyed just because he had this inconsolable urge to enjoy Sita Devi, who does not is not his consort. That's Ravana. The second peg in which aham mama manifests very strongly is this intense attachment to one's own, uh, in this case, products of one's life, so particularly one's own children. This mad attraction and all attachment drives a person's intelligence away. And the person who embodies that is Dhritarashtra. His blindness or of affection for his son was so strong that I'm going to use the phrase in front of his eyes, although he can't see because the attachment to his son blinded him, that his other children, the sons of Pandu, he didn't stop them from all sorts of torment that Duryodhana was putting them into, including the very, very simple, chaste Draupadi. Imagine bringing such a royal lady, dragged during her monthly cycle time. She's wearing a single piece of cloth. She was dragged by the hair by this tremendous, treacherous demon Dushasana, dragged into the assembly of all men. They're all princes and emperors and kings while she's bleeding and then trying to disrobe her. And Dhritarashtra did not say anything. He did not say to Duryodhana, stop this nonsense. Why? Because somewhere it is my son, my son. I want him to be the king. The hesitation to correct his son. And the third is this intense desire to enjoy or to grab away someone else's wealth. That lust is embodied by Duryodhana. Duryodhana had just no desire to share, not even share. They asked for 5 villages. And Duryodhana said, not even land that fits under the tip of a pin shall I give Yudhishthira. Actually, if Duryodhana had given 5 villages, there would have never been a fight. Yudhishthira Maharaj was not wanting to be emperor. But this lust that is combined with envy, that I will not want to see even a little bit, because if it does, people will like Yudhishthira. They will not like me. That insecurity destroyed Duryodhana. But the guru, his function is to help us to loosen this knot of gratifying ourselves and using ourselves, but gratifying oneself by trying to usurp others' possessions, or almost in one sense, even if not usurping, inside enjoying someone else's uh, wife or possessions, or this blind attachment or this envy. And that's how he's destroying this Ashoka garden that we've all built for ourselves. Ourselves in the sense we are the soul Atma sitting inside this body called Lanka, ruled by Ravana the mind, and living in enjoying the exploits of our Ashoka garden. And so Hanumanji, by destroying these things, is showing how the Guru's unimaginable and unimaginable grace upon the conditioned soul, that favor can never be returned. And because one cannot return the favor of the guru, only thing that a disciple can do is every day, multiple times of the day, offer obeisances. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The ways the Chakshur Unmilita, the conceptions are changed. There is a conception. This is happiness. This is joy. This is how the future looks secure for me. This is how I am going to uh, hedge myself. This is how I'm going to immunize myself against anything that will happen in this world. No. The only immunity is to transcend it with new vision, with new conceptions. Chakshur unmilitam yena. So the only thing one can do is Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And he's called Shri Guru, because that Shri is, he has been empowered by, he has been endowed by that Shri. That Shri is not just wealth, but Shri means all sorts of opulence. And in this case, the Shri means the opulence, the strength, the power, the ability to remove the illusion of a conditioned soul that no demigod can do. However powerful they are in this world, they can gift, they can create planets, but they cannot remove illusion. Only the person who can is Guru. Therefore, he's called Shri Guru. And that Shri is, in this case, endowed by Srimati Sita Devi. So those are the chapters 42 and 43. And let's see if there are any comments or thoughts. I have, I have Sadhu's sitting in the room here, and we can see Himangi here. So what's up? Any questions, comments, thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I
Hari,
audible?
yes, you are.
Hi, thank you very much for the nice class. Yeah, I never heard this deep significance of Hanuman destroying the Ashokavana and tying it back to how the three pegs that you explained about Guru's function. It was so nice to hear about it. Um, I was thinking it's so embarrassing for Ravana that in his home uh, town or his bastion, all the demons are getting defeated and killed, the big heavyweights. It must have been such an embarrassing situation for Ravana. The second point I wanted to ask, there's a question is, Hanuman he killed Prahasta. Does that have a significance? We heard when he was flying to Lanka, he met many demons, and they signified different aspects. Does this also have any significance?
Yes, I kept it for next week. We will hear who Prahasta, what it means, what he signifies, and what Jambu Mali signifies. So we'll keep that for next week.
Thank you, sir.
But it's very interesting when we hear suddenly Jambu Mali and Prahasta. We would never thought how it is. Now, as far as the embarrassment is concerned, the first indicator that the guru's influence somehow is coming into our lives is that there is embarrassment. The embarrassment that, oh wow, here I am thinking what I have done for myself and I've made myself invincible. But actually, I am so much at risk. I'm so exposed. Because one thinks, oh, I have built this moat. I have built this palace. I protected myself with money and property and this one and that one, and I'm good. I'm good. But the first indicator is like this embarrassing. Oh, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I've been embarrassed so many times. There is also verses from the Bhagavatam that I have been embarrassed again and again and again. That embarrassment is good because it immediately opens one's eye to, oh, what have I built for myself? A house of cards here. That embarrassment is good. Although for Ravana, the anger is the inability to accept. The mind pushes back the conceptions that, oh no, that's not how it is. I know what I'm doing. Let me try something else. Let me try counteracting. Let me try arguing. Let me try pushing back on these new conceptions that are entering by the speech of the Sri Guru, by the speech of Sri Guru. So yeah, embarrassment is good in that sense, and that's what happens as one hears new things. All right, anyone else? You want to share anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please
Yes.
accept my humble thanks.
Yes.
Prabhu, as always, very, very beautiful presentation. And this Pariprashna Sevaya and, the Pranipat, the other side of Guru was mind-blowing. But I have a question. I'm almost feeling embarrassed asking you because it's it might seem a little off topic, so if you choose to not answer it in this forum, that is fine, but I felt like a part of me wants to ask you because I was thinking, who else will I ask? uh, and that is, this past week I had conversation with somebody, and then therefore this question is also coming up. Like in the recent times in India, there is this, why Kanya Dan? She's not something to be given away, uh, like that. So here we see in the three types of lust, right? Like where we covet somebody else's property. Yes, we understand property, but how can a woman be somebody else's property? She's her own person. It almost is dehumanizing to call her as somebody else's property. So I don't know if you have a comment, but if you don't want to, that is fine too. I can talk to you later.
Yeah, I mean, it is in current context, and therefore I was careful. I first said property, and then I said more like possession. I could soften it and say partner, but the point still is that someone else's wife means that they are with someone else or someone else's husband. They're with someone else. But to overtly or covertly want to enjoy, that is the issue. Forget the terminology. Maybe my terminology may be different, but the malady doesn't change because of that. So maybe my terminology may need some refinement or change, but I'm very convinced that the 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 aspect that we are referring to and trying to focus on is what Ravana, he has so many wives. Now, if you step back, there is an actual video by one Sanskrit scholar. His name is Nityananda Mishra, and he has addressed this topic about Kanya Dana and this new age idea of what you're giving dana, am I some possession? He treats that topic very well, and I'll try to find it. And I actually owe all of you a bunch of things which I've been traveling like anything and haven't been able to, but in this week, by before next Saturday, I will send you the verse that I had said is Karya Siddhi verse of Hanuman. I had promised you some other verse, and I will send you a link for Nityananda Mishra's real nice exposition on this topic of Kanyadana.
Did I say something?
But one second. But what is important is, regardless, the what Ravana is signifying for us. That's where, as of now, I want to hold it. Yeah, let's see if Hemangi has something to say. Go ahead. Can you hear what she's saying?
I did say you can.
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, okay. So my understanding, at least of Kanyadana, what I've understood is that the from the Vedic perspective, the girl, because when a girl child is born, is considered as the Sri, like the Lakshmi Devi. You've been entrusted to take care of somebody who's representing like Lakshmi Devi. So that's the most precious possession that one has, or is being given the responsibility to take care. So when a father and a mother at the time of wedding, they are giving away their daughter, actually they're giving away their most precious wealth that they have. It's understood in that mode more than like a commodity that's been given away. And then when the Kanya Danam is done, then all the, that she's been given a lot of gifts and everything. So it's more like, the in a good sense, the pride and prestige of the family. The father is saying, here is the most precious gift that I have received from the Lord, and now I'm entrusting you, the young man, to take care of this gift that I have received. I'm passing on to you in that sense. That's how I've understood Kanyadana means. But of course, I'm not a scholar.
It's not about scholar.
Thank you.
Argument still would be Shri as a possession. And I think let's hear. Thank you for sharing that. It's not so much a commodity, but a wealth. But I think I'll send you that link of Nityananda Mishra. Let's see if more comes up then. Anyone else? Anything?
Prabhu, can I share my this thing about this Kanyadhanam and
Yeah.
giving gifts at that time? What I feel is
What
it
have you started?
yeah, no. It
Sorry,
brings
I should have
lots
asked you
of
the private questions. I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. I
No,
will
no,
be
I'm
very
okay.
precise. I will be very precise.
No,
It
I'm
brings lots of auspiciousness, giving gifts. It's not dhanam kind of a thing. That is what I feel. It brings lots of auspiciousness. That's what I feel.
Mangi is talking as Shri. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just teasing you, Varsana. Don't worry. You please feel free to ask anything.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Srinivas Murari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhuji, quick thing. I was wondering, like, a monkey is like for Vanara, for a huge Rakshasa demon king, powerful. Why did he think like to kill her, to arrest her, to pick him? Why did he has to think like sending 80,000 demons? Like, is it like less number for him, or is it big number for us only? Or I don't know, like 80,000 sounds big for me. That's why I'm asking.
So, never in the history of Lanka under Ravana's jurisdiction, has anyone able to enter the place? So that's one thing. And suddenly, not only has someone entered, and that too a monkey, a Vanara, not only entering or trespassing, but causing havoc, his prized possession of Ashoka that was competing with Indra's Nandana gardens was being completely destroyed by a monkey. Now, I'm using the word monkey for the moment. One person cannot capture a monkey. Monkey is too agile. So you need multiple. Plus, this monkey is huge. So he sent 80,000 kinkaras. Just all of you go together. They all like to go and overwhelm the opponent. They come in massive, large scale quantity, 80,000 of them. And Hanuman just completely finished them in such a way. Some ran away, some died, some got scared. And Ravana was completely shocked. So is that a big number? For Ravana, he just sent a nuisance monkey, all of you go get him. But he never thought that they would all be destroyed in one shot. So is that a big number for Hanuman? No, not at all. That's what we saw. Because he's constantly loudly crying out, Dasoham Kosalendrasya.
Ravana thought it might be sufficient.
Yeah, Ravana thought, here, Jagdananda Prabhu saying, Ravana thought 80 is actually too much, but let's all of you go capture him and bring, because it's too overwhelmed. When suddenly so many show up, he thought he will overwhelm Hanumanji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anyone else? We have a few minutes. Dasoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Aklishta Karmana.
Little one clarification I wanted.
Hanuman.
So the three pegs you talked, in the first one, at least in my notes, what I wrote is one has intense attraction for symbol of lust, and then you said what others possess. And then the third point you said intense desire to enjoy someone else's wealth. So how different is those two points?
So one is someone else's wife, one's children, and property or wealth of someone else.
Yeah, the first point where you're covering property, and then again third point.
Again, possession, particularly one's wife. That was Ravana. The lust for someone else's wife. It has a sexual connotation to it. The other is envious of someone else's wealth and wants to, that envy that destroys oneself.
And
Competitiveness and envy.
you also mentioned about overtly and covertly, right?
Yes.
Somebody could covertly, not literally possess, but covertly they could. That is also.
Okay. Someone else was trying to speak. All right. If nothing else, we will wait to find out the meaning of Prahasta and Jambu Mali. Until then, we can recite every day.
For the one's own kid, you said Dhritarashtra's example, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Until then, let's loudly every day remind ourselves that we are Dasoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Aklishta Karmanaha. Dasoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Aklishta Karmanaha. When we approach even the difficult circumstances, Klishta Karmanaha, with that spirit of Dasoham Ramasya, then even the difficult ones, Klishta Karmana becomes Aklishta Karmana. But it is important to remember Dasoham. Otherwise, life, circumstances, just everyday or occasional can become very overwhelming. Jai Shri Hanuman Ji, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada.